agreed to start?
Ready when you are.
Okay.
I would just ask the public to mute theirs for now.
Yes. Okay, so we will call to order the select board meeting via conference call under these circumstances on April 2nd, 2020. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. You guys can join in.
And to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and
liberty
and justice for all.
With all due respect, Sharon, I appreciate if you just do the lead and follow through, because that was terrible.
That was rough.
Okay. All right, so we'll open it up for public comment. Is there anyone else on for the public besides Lynn? Okay. Lynn, do you have any public comment?
I do not. As I said, I just wanted to participate by listening, if I might.
Oh, okay. So we'll move right along. The treasurer's update. Did everyone have a chance to look at the check warrants that Shelley sent out?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Do we have any questions or concerns?
No, I did not.
Okay.
No, looks good.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept the check warrants?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that, Randy.
Okay.
It was Richard and Randy.
Favor for signing the check warrant, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So just for information, we'll sign those check warrants at a later date, but the motion will allow Shelley to send out the bills. Shelley is asking about the personnel policy as well. So we changed the portion about an emergency situation. And then she had a couple of other just minor changes. Was there any questions about that?
I didn't have any.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the personnel policy?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second. I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Wendy?
Yes.
Horace.
You have minutes from March 19th. I think you've all seen them.
Yep. Okay. I have a motion to accept the minutes from the select board meeting of March 19th.
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of approving? Yes, absolutely.
So I was not present. I forget. Do we have enough for a quorum if I'm absent from that vote? Kyle, Richard. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
I think there's three of you. Okay.
Yes.
I have no other questions.
Okay. So, yeah, sorry. So all those in favor of approving the minutes of March 19th, say aye.
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 Okay.
Hi, Sharon.
Aye. Is this Bruce?
Yeah, I finally got
Okay.
this thing to work.
Okay, all right. So we're on to Wendy, and we've just approved the minutes, so you have an idea of where we are. So go ahead, Wendy, with the dog licensing and rabies.
Okay, so as of right now, the clinic is still rescheduled for May 16th, subject to change, of course. We'll see what happens. with the office closed, I've been doing a lot of the dog licenses, excess weight permits by mail. It's been super busy. I've been managing to keep up with the recording. I got a lot of invoicing done for the arena, and I've been running back and forth to the office, sending out indexes for title searchers so they can, continue their work. So even though it's a bad situation, it's working pretty well. Everything takes a little longer to do, but everything's going fine.
Okay. Same with Shelley. Have you heard?
Yep, I've been talking to her almost every day. Yep, she's going in tomorrow to do a deposit because I went in today and did all my recording and closed out the month so I could give the transfers to the listers. And now Shelley's going to go in and do a deposit. She's got, first of the month, she's got some bank statements to reconcile. So I haven't seen much of her, but I have been talking to her, and things seem to be going okay for her as well.
Okay. All right. And Heidi, have you been able to get some work done?
Yes. Working remotely is fine. I did go in. I had 2 grants to send in, and I need the big scanner to do that. I can't really manage that here, so I'm going to go in again tomorrow to finish this AOT grant, scan it, and get it out. But it's fine otherwise. No real issues. So, trying to keep up with things.
All right. What about the AOT grants? Now, you sent us an email saying that Butch hadn't picked any Class 2 roads to do.
That's right. Yep. I'm not sure. I saw it the day Randy was here, and he said he was going to, and then I asked Randy, and they hadn't looked at any, and Nick said they weren't going to. So I don't really know what happened. So we're talking singular.
I did reach out to Butch today.
Yeah.
With a number of questions, and that was one of them. And he did not realize that there was a deadline.
I'm not sure what that means, but the day that Randy Reed came, I asked him to go to pick out his paving as well, and then that didn't happen, so I'm not sure what the deadline is.
Ty Sawyer. Hi, Ty, we're just in the middle here. Okay.
Well, there has been an extension offered, so the AOT grants are going to be late, so I can finish this one up and get it in as soon as Randy gets me the information. But I did send an email, and Nick answered back that they weren't going to do it this year, so I don't know what the disconnect is.
Okay. Richard, anything about it?
I talked to Nick yesterday, and was it yesterday or the day that they worked on the Cassidy Road, and Nick didn't seem like all he said was that the grants were put on hold until May.
The grant did have an extension, but
he didn't. I didn't ask him too much about it, but he didn't sound. He didn't. They didn't sound very. Like they had plenty of time. That's input I got out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we can follow up with another conversation. But we paid Randy Reed to come out and do that. So I'm not sure why it didn't happen.
So I'll talk to him and see what's happening.
Okay. Okay, so for now...
Hey, can you talk to Butch, Richard?
Yeah. Yeah, I can.
Nick is all fine and well, except we do pay Butch to be the foreman.
Okay. He just sounded like he seemed to be like he was handling the computer stuff. You know, I got that impression. Like Butch didn't seem to be too interested, but I'll ask Butch.
Okay. Because I know when I spoke to him this morning, he said that he had a couple of paving projects that he thought he could get covered by the paving money that we have now. For this year, the frontage road, the Gore Road, but he figured that the Gore Road would add up to $200,000 in itself. He had a small stretch on the Cassidy Road, and he has some on the Maury Road and the Macy Road that he's concerned about because apparently the truck did a digger and almost went over the bank because the asphalt was all broken up. So we have an issue there. So if we need extra money, maybe we should consider that grant for those projects in case it takes more than he's thinking.
Yep.
Because we have, what, 275,000 or so for paving, Heidi?
I can't tell you off the top of my head, but while we're chatting, I can pull up the town report. I'm at my computer, so continue your conversation and I'll try and get that number. But that might be what he's concerned about because he has to have the match in his savings fund, and he has to do that for the last grant that we have that will happen this spring. So maybe that's what he's thinking. Can I ask you, when you say Macy Road, do you mean at the site where we have a project planned?
No.
I don't think it was.
No, it was between Ricky and Bill Macy's house.
Right to the Sheldon line.
Last time he plowed through there, the asphalt gave way and the plow dug into the road and swung them around and just about put them over that bank into the river. Yeah, I didn't know about that until today.
Okay.
Richard, did you know anything about that?
No.
Okay. So let's try to get more information out of them because stuff like that we really want to know about.
Okay.
Just because that could be a danger to somebody else too.
Do they keep any kind of log file on their file routes or anything, or any kind of pat down?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Last fact.
It would definitely be good to, record those instances so that the next guy, if somebody has to do someone else's route, and just for this fact that we're discussing what to pave, it would be good to record those things as they happen.
Right, absolutely.
Excellent idea. Excellent.
So while we're talking about the highway department, Kyle, would you like to express your concerns?
Yeah, well, I was curious how the decision was made. Who made the decision for the road crew to work from home? The way I read it, they are considered essential workers. I don't know of anybody from the board that was advised, even told what was going on. I saw the email from Shelley. And I am curious also when they plan on coming back to work.
Okay. So I think there was a miscommunication between myself and perhaps Wendy and Shelley. I know we had discussed Nick Scott because his wife is a care worker, and they have 2 small children. And then when we looked at what the Vermont League of Cities and Towns had gave us for basically advice, part of it was, I don't know if I just barely sent it, but it was V-Train's interpretation of Governor Scott's stay home, stay safe order.
Well, I actually just did read that 10-15 minutes ago. I saw that you sent it. And the first part of it certainly says that they should stay home unless necessary. But then if you read the bottom of it, it says that transportation infrastructure is part of essential. So I don't know. I'm just curious.
It's kind of wishy-washy.
It is wishy-washy. And I'm not pointing fingers by no means, but I don't understand why the board wasn't told what was going on. It just happened. And I don't think that's right. I don't think it should have done that way. And I'm just curious, who made the decision? Why was it, why weren't we told? Got people asking me why the road crew isn't working, and I look like a darn fool because I can't honestly tell them. I don't know it's good answer to the public.
This is Randy. I wonder, just kind of throwing it out there, that's a personnel issue. If maybe when we move into executive, that's where that belongs. Just throwing it out there, don't know the answer to that, but right out there.
So that's fine with me. And again, I'm not pointing fingers. And I don't know how we possibly could do executive on intercom, so I don't see that happening tonight. But I just think it's something that should be approached when things get back to the new norm or whatever we want to call it. That we talk about it. It's obvious that communications aren't so good right now.
Right.
Even before this happened, it sounds like communications weren't as good as it could be. I just think that's something that I would like to have an answer to. That's all. And,
sure.
You're one, Kyle. Do you think they should be working at least 2 of them, or?
Well, initially what I saw was Swanton Town. Everybody was off for the first few days, but now they're doing a rotation. I just know what I know since that's the short time I've been on the board, that this crew is definitely got its load of work, and by no one doing any maintenance, it's only getting deeper. This work isn't going to be. They're going to be chasing their tail trying to catch up. And in my opinion, at least 1 or 2 should be working at a time. We're kind of in a bad spot because the last thing I want to see is anybody get this virus. And if somebody goes back to work and has the virus,
but they have been working. I know there was a couple times. Butch has been out grading. I know that.
Yeah.
I think
my question is, if there's work to do for at least 2 in the rotation, I don't understand why they're not working.
Right.
And if we can answer, maybe it's a state issue. Maybe it's what the governor wants. And fine. When people ask me, I would like to have an answer, not with no answer at all. It doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. Right. We talk about transparency, and this is really positive.
Can I back
Yeah,
up?
I'd like
I'm just curious.
to chime in.
I'll go ahead with my question.
Randy
really
first,
quick.
Bruce second.
Okay. I'm just wondering, do they have all the PPE that they need to meet, the governor's orders? So, do they have masks, gloves? Does all the office have everything they need? And I'll let you go with that.
Okay, Bruce, do you want to chime in, and then we'll look for some answers?
Yeah. I wouldn't want to verbatim force these guys to have to put themselves in a undesirable position, but nature being what it is, we can't simply put road maintenance on hold. I can easily picture a situation where those three gentlemen can easily keep their distance from each other, all drive separate vehicles, that they wouldn't need to all be together in the garage in close proximity. So I would think we should be trying to maintain a regular 40-hour-a-week work schedule for the equipment, and they do whatever they think's necessary just to maintain a safe personal distance. As far as gloves and stuff like that, if they need that personal protective equipment, I would think they'd already have it. If not, then they certainly should be getting supplies of it. They don't have to. I think we have our own fuel, correct? So they don't have to go to a gas station any to speak of. And then the parts stores and places like that are making provisions so that people can get parts without having to come into contact with one another. So I would think if Butch and Richard have got a schedule of tasks laid out, that they ought to be able to proceed with doing it. But as I started out saying, I would not be trying to force them or mandate that they have to do it if they don't feel safe.
Okay, so let me take them one by one. Kyle, I will take full responsibility for not keeping everybody in the loop. I should have done a much better job at keeping everybody informed. I've been trying to do it with the sit reps that come through, and I should have been better at communicating to the rest of the board. Absolutely. I'll take full responsibility for that. What Randy said about their needing equipment, they wouldn't have masks, but they do have gloves, and they do have the ability to separate. I did speak to Butch this morning to go over a concern similar to Bruce's about whether or not they felt safe to go to work. They have been on call. They all worked Tuesday on the Cassidy Road and put in a new culvert. Butch said at the moment the roads are in decent shape. He said he would like to start grading. And he said he has enough work for the others to work separately, where they're not in a group. And he did request that you give the 2 weeks off for Nick because of his family situation.
Well, excuse me, Sharon, real quick.
Yeah.
Would it be certainly not trying to question anything as far as anybody's whatever. And safety is definitely number one. Would we be smart to wait and let them all stay out for the full 14 days from when this started to make sure that everything was okay there, and then start them on a rotation or something then?
They are willing to do that. They are willing to start tomorrow. I told Butch that I would let him know what happened at this meeting. Like I said, Butch requested for Nick to have it this full 2 weeks just so that his family could, have a little reprieve. He did say that he was confused about the whole thing as well. Wasn't sure what he should or shouldn't be doing. And again, I'll take responsibility for that. I should have gone and found him and had a discussion. Right now, Swanton they have 2 people working a day. It's 2 on, 2 off. And then they rotate the days. St. Albans sent a bunch of their people home. B-Train, they sent their people home, except for snow plowing and emergencies. And Franklin's working full-time, it looks like. Butch said that he feels safe and he feels pretty confident that, like I said, he could keep their distance and that they could be safe. With the understanding that if anyone were to become ill or have any of the symptoms, that they would, immediately go home. Excuse me. He also wanted to know whether they could go 4-day weeks. Normally they do that in May, but he said under this situation, he says he knows Swanton went to 4 days a week. And he wanted to know if they could, because he thought he could use the 10 hours for grading. And that would be an easier situation to manage. But that's all up to the board.
I'd be in favor of their... Sorry. I personally don't have a problem if they want to go 10. They do it. So if you think that's going to be helpful, then why not? That's my opinion.
Okay. This is Bruce.
Yeah.
I think 10 would be fine.
10.
Richard? Yeah, this is Richard. I think 10 is fine.
Randy?
I missed something. 10...
4 10-hour days.
So, to the summer schedule, basically.
Correct, yes. They just want to do it early. He feels that he can do 10 to 12 hours a day grading.
Yep.
And,
now, that actually might work good, because maybe you have someone Monday through Thursday. Like, the 5th day could be somebody else,
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm good with that.
Okay. So, can I have a motion to allow the Public Works Department to go to their summer schedule of 4 10-hour days?
Sharon, could you hold it a minute?
Yeah?
No, Bruce would make that motion. Move to second and discuss.
Okay.
I'll second. This is Randy. Whoops.
Okay. Okay, Richard.
Now I just got a little confused because Randy said that one could. Are we going to approve everybody to work Monday to Thursday, or are we just are we going to have somebody work Friday? Now I heard Randy say something about maybe they work Friday.
Well, my point was that if they did 4 10-hour days, if they wanted, it would make sense in my mind if someone if they're, concerned about exposure and whatnot, if 4 10-hour days would be more, it would play better towards distancing if, somebody wanted to do different offset days. I'm not
like somebody take Monday off and work Friday instead? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Of course, I would leave that to them personally, but if it were me and I had those concerns, I would personally opt for that.
Can I type in, Sharon? Pardon?
Can I type in, Sharon? It's Todd.
Yeah, give us just a second here. So, Randy, were you finished?
was you guys, I would be okay. I think it'd be okay to have that one person work on Friday as long as somebody's on call if something happens.
Yes. Yeah, they're always basically
You know,
that
I
job
don't want
is-
somebody
is
stuck on the side of the
like a
road.
job.
Right. I just didn't want somebody stuck on the side of the road and get hurt because there was only one of them working on Friday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And could we just
Further myself on that.
a Butch? Sorry. That'd be appropriate. Leave it up to the discretion of Butch if he wants to do that. Have him work all the same 410s, especially if he's grading. They'll be in the truck hauling gravel. They won't be around each other. And then someone's on call all the time anyway, so if they think it's better to offset somebody, would it be smarter to have them make that decision?
Okay, Randy?
I would totally think it's their decision, and I would even further the thought into, so if they wanted to do weekend days instead of weekdays, I think our weekends now are almost the same as a weekday for most of us. We can't go out.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, but if they wanted to, and it would be up to them. I'm not suggesting it, but I could see where somebody does Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's a couple extra days off if that's something that they want to do.
Sure. Okay, so was that all for discussion? So we have a motion on the table for allowing the Public Works Department to go to their summer schedule. Do you want to modify that, Randy, by saying that at Butch's discretion, he could schedule his people around a 7-day week?
I would support that if that's something they have interest in. So,
Okay.
sure, yeah. And that's only in support of the highway department, for them to have flexibility. Due to weather, due to, the concerns around COVID, the whole thing.
Sure.
Okay, this is Bruce.
Yes?
Wendy, can you tell us who made the motion?
Yep. It was Bruce, you did, and it was seconded by Randy and Richard at the same time, so.
I think I'd like to break it into two separate motions then.
Okay.
So
I want to stay with the original motion first?
Yep, and then somebody move to allow them flexible scheduling.
Okay, so the first motion on the table is to allow them to go to their summer rotation.
Is it
All those
starting?
in favor, say aye. Aye.
Is that effective on Monday or what?
Okay, yes.
I would say start it fresh on Monday.
Okay.
Just start. I don't know what you felt, but
All right.
So, Randy, would you like to make a motion on the ability to rotate around a 7-day schedule?
I so
The
moved.
flexibility to do so.
And can I just
Yeah?
say something on that? Second the motion first. Oh, okay. I didn't want. I wanted to change that motion, but I'll second it. I just wanted to add a couple words in there.
Sure.
Go for it. Just that we leave it up to Butch to do the scheduling.
Yes, okay.
So,
Randy, is that okay for your motion?
That's agreeable. Yep.
okay.
Okay. So all those in favor for the flexibility of schedule for the Highway Department or Public Works Department Butch's discretion. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now, to go back to Kyle's question. Do we have them all take 14 days? Or do we have them all come back? Or do we have 2 come back?
Is anyone sick?
Not that I know of.
I think if Butch has requested that Nick be able to get his full 2 weeks, let Butch decide that.
Okay.
I agree with Lyle.
You know, and then he'll do what's best for everybody. And I have no problem Nick getting his 2 weeks and myself, but
Yeah. So do we want Butch to start back up on Monday with Luke? Or do we want to do it? Well, yeah, you might as well do it Monday since today's already Thursday.
we'll just start fresh in the first week. We'll have some good news from this darn thing.
Any other comments about that? Are we in agreement to have Butch and Luke start on Monday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So can I have a motion just to make it?
So moved.
Okay, and do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, so all those in favor of having Nick continue his 2 weeks and Butch and Luke begin again on Monday, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Yeah. All right. Now, while we're talking about times, what do we think about the municipal office? Wendy, what are your thoughts about how long or when?
Well, according to everything they've sent us, a lot of what we do in the office is not on the essential list.
Correct.
So, I mean, I don't mind being there behind the scenes. I don't think we're close to opening up the doors.
No.
But if you want us in the office versus working remotely and going back and forth, that's up to you guys. I'm going in almost every day for at least a little bit anyways.
This is Bruce.
Yep.
Can everybody, I'm guessing everybody can be reached either by phone or email.
Yes.
Yes.
So if someone has something they need to take care of, they could call Wendy, for instance, and if it really requires like somebody to sign some documents in person or something, is it possible for someone to make an appointment? And then you put the documents on one end of the table and walk to the other end, kind of thing.
Well, we have a listserv where all 251 towns are chiming in, and I don't think anybody's allowing title searchers in right now. We were doing it by appointment for a bit. Now we're just scanning them indexes and saying, if you can give me specific documents you want, I can send them to you with an invoice. So we're still keeping people out of the office, but we're still able to help them. I have not notarized anything for anyone. I don't know how I would do that without coming in close contact with them. And I haven't had to do any marriage licenses either, which would mean close contact. And that's all on the not essential list. So it hasn't come up. I haven't had to deal with it yet.
my phone messages by email. We have that option that makes me aware when someone has called. For me, I have to go in for certain things, but there's really no value in me going in just to go in. And it is a bit of a problem because people will come to my window and knock on my window. And then I have to say, I can't let you in. So
I was just going to say, I'm sorry to cut you off, Heidi, but in my opinion, until the governor or the powers to be say that we can get back to some type of normal, it seems like these guys are doing a super job getting the work done from home and going in when they need to. And I think we should let it continue like that, keep the door closed, because they're fishing in the aquarium and people want to talk to them and they're still banging on the window. I can see that happening. When I worked at the Killings, we were trying to do inventory, it's exactly the same thing. Still try to get in.
Yeah.
And then it just makes them feel bad because they can't open the door, and then people get upset because they won't open the door, and I don't think we should put them in that position.
Okay.
I totally agree with that. Only as absolutely required or necessary, I believe. And they're set up pretty well to work remotely. So.
Exactly. Yeah, they're getting it done, and it was in the first week, and then they're only going to get better at it. Getting used to the process, so.
So, can we make a motion to allow the municipal office to stay closed until the governor releases or relinquishes his stay home, stay safe order?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. Did I get everybody's questions and concerns on that topic?
Yes, thank you, Sharon, you did, and,
Okay.
I'm no hard feelings, I just,
No.
I'm just saying, no hard feelings, it's important for us all to be on the same page, because when people ask questions, and you don't have an answer, so thank you.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Thank
Promise
you.
to do a better job.
So you don't get anything going on either, Sharon, so please.
This is uncharted territory, guys, so, and ladies.
Absolutely.
So I feel like we have asked staff if there are things they do need, and, just to keep an open mind, things may change further, and so if Shelley, Heidi, Wendy, and everybody else, if they need anything from us, just to let us know, and we hope to provide the tools they need to be safe and work remotely and all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Randy.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so we're going to skip back to Heidi. Heidi, AOT grants.
Well, I have the town report, and what I can tell you is that the voters approved $300,000 for paving this year for this budget, and $80,000 for stone and gravel.
What was that for stone and gravel, Heidi?
$80,000.
80,000? Okay.
Okay, so you figured the Gore Road would be $200,000 right off the top. Then they still have the frontage road, part of Cassidy, part of Morrow, and then Macy Road. So
You already have a grant for paving Gore Road, Cassidy to Bottom Park.
okay.
So that's in hand. I believe that's $150,000. And the opportunity that's open right now is for $175,000. And it definitely won't be anything that you get this year because they're not going to be looking at these applications until May. They're super slow at processing them under the best of conditions, so I assume we won't get this. We probably won't have a contract until late fall. So it's nothing that can happen this year.
Correct.
But it'll be in your pocket for next year.
Okay, so what does the board think about that? Should we consider applying for that or letting it go by and try to catch up so that we're in better stead next year?
My question would be, Bruce. Sorry. Go ahead, Bruce.
I simply say yes, apply for it.
My question is, I guess, to Heidi and Butch, kind of like, what are their recommendations? And I know Butch isn't here.
Right.
My recommendation is always to apply and to get the information, to have the application. We may not get it this year because we've gotten it the last few years, but if we don't, then we have the information just to submit next year for the exact same project. So the money to put the grant together is not a waste, and it's a lot of money to put it together. It's usually around $300. So,
well, and my other concern might be that financially, what would put the town in a better spot? Would it be to apply for it now and use it next year, or try to apply for it next year? If somewhere along the line we're going to have an awful budget shortage, and they're going to make it up somehow.
Well, if you apply for it next year, you're probably not going to be able to use it till the following year. So,
right, but I'm thinking that the amount that's going to be available is going to be a lot less.
perhaps.
Just throwing that out there.
So apply for it this year.
I guess.
I'll say again, yes.
Yeah. I guess if we're thinking, that we have problems on the Macy Road, if it's $50,000 to pave a quarter mile, it might behoove us to apply.
Maybe Richard could talk with Butch and find out what his hesitation was.
Yeah. I can do that.
Oh, yeah, because we might not get it anyway.
Right.
But
Which is the case for the structures grant as well. It's all equity among towns in the district. So if someone applies who hasn't gotten a grant in a few years, they go right to the top. So that's just how it works.
okay. So is it agreed to let Richard speak to Butch about that and verify which way he wants to go, and then still apply or follow his direction if he doesn't want to apply? How you want to play that?
This is Bruce.
Yep, apply.
Well, given the current difficulties with communication, I think we should just proceed with applying. And by all means, Richard should talk with Butch and get his take on it, but it's road money, it's transportation money, it's something where we need a lot of and use a lot of no matter what. And if we get turned down, then, as Heidi said, we have all of the data in place to put the application back through another year.
Okay. Carl?
I think you should apply.
Okay. Randy?
I got a couple questions.
Certainly.
So we can apply. If we're awarded, we can turn it down if we're not in a position to use it, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. What position would you think you'd be in that you couldn't accept it?
I overloaded on projects, I guess, and this is a 10% match.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess, you know, if we're already booked up on other projects, I guess I could see where we wouldn't want to accept it.
Well, each of those AOT grants come with a 2-year cycle, a 2-year period to utilize it. So if you did get it, you have 2 seasons to make it happen.
And so the only risk taken on this is that perhaps if we apply this year, we're awarded less than maybe a more favorable fiscal, you know, schedule. Is that fair to say?
I'm not sure how to answer that if you're asking me.
Okay.
Who are you asking?
I guess I was going back to Sharon's concern that if we apply now, maybe, but we can always apply every year no matter what, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, these applications, sorry?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, these applications are open now, so this money has already been voted in to the budget, so my concern would be future funding, not this current cycle. But I do kind of feel that the road grants are kind of sacred. They're not as vulnerable as a lot of other grant programs.
Okay, so I think we should apply. We should go for it.
Okay, so Richard, can you get with Butch and come up with some kind of plan? Heidi, what kind of time frame do you need to know by?
I think they moved it to May 15th. Let me check that. I will double check that while we're chatting here.
Okay, so we have time then, I guess was...
I think there's plenty of time, and Randy offered to come back when I asked him why we weren't doing a paving thing, and he said they just didn't do it. He offered to come back, but that's when Nick said Butch said he doesn't want to. So I think there is time. We can do this if there, if there is will. So
Richard, can you kind of convey that to Butch that the select board would like to apply for that grant if he can get with Heidi and you and make a plan?
Yep.
Because we are concerned about what's going to happen to that pot of money in the future.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Okay, so you do have an application that you've seen the basic information for. So you can authorize that to proceed if you're ready, and that was, as I sent to you yesterday, $160,000 was the estimate, and that's on Vice Hill Road on McGowan Brook, almost at the end of Highgate.
And this will go toward our stormwater requirements?
Yeah, this is definitely an upgrade, and Randy Reed met with Chris Brunel, the stream alteration specialist on site, and he told him what he would need. So that is what the sizing is based on.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Sorry, Heidi, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say 160,557 is the estimate.
Okay, so does anyone have any other questions about that grant or any concerns?
I'm all set.
Okay, can I have a motion to apply for this grant for the Rice Hill Road alteration?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second
Do I
it.
have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. Okay, anything else, Heidi?
Yeah, I wanted to make you aware that we had received a phone call, another concern regarding the intersection of Brusso Road and 207. And this one came from the busing company, Colette Floof, that her driver is very nervous about that area. So I did forward the message to Jim Coda. I know you have a lot on your plate, but if there's growing concern, and he did reply and said he forwarded it up the chain. So hopefully something will come of this. But it's definitely a public concern.
Okay, I have a question on that.
Yep.
Go ahead, Randy.
That's the road that comes right out by the park, right?
Yes.
And the accidents are coming from the vehicles traveling west off of Brusso.
Yes.
And
They go across the road and down the bank.
Is there an opportunity for the town to collect that? Like, there's another outlet if you go north, right? Instead of straight on the 207.
Correct.
Is there an opportunity that's just turned into green space on the south side and all traffic goes out onto the north side?
So are you saying go down Park Street?
I'm not saying, I'm kind of asking, I guess.
Yeah, but you're talking about Park Street, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he,
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think we're opening up another can of worms because there's a lot of people complaining there that traffic's so fast and kids are playing and everything and going across the road to the park.
I don't disagree with that, but I guess if a busing company, if people do have concerns, it could be a short-term, of course we're not busing kids right now, but it's an option. And
Randy, we can also use Blanca and use Luke Street.
Yep, that's a good point. Of course, yep, and there's extra traffic through there as well, but, if that
or that if that's so bad, I'm hearing that it's really bad. Those are two options.
Could we possibly put a series of bump strips down that Park Street so people can't get flying, just to help slow them down? Because I agree with Richard completely. We just put people on that, and that's going to turn into a kettle of fish. We don't want to open that can of worms. So,
what if we had a stop sign by the church right there, right, where Park Street kind of meets? So there could be a stop sign facing on the east side. They'd have to stop before, when they meet where it touches Park and Luke, I guess. And then they got to proceed up to 207. That's not enough distance really to get to a speed, I don't think, that would be an issue. So throwing it out there, that could be a town stop sign, and state intervention would be limited. So basically, what I'm saying is, it could happen sooner rather than later.
Correct, yeah. No, it's a good idea.
I think that's a great idea. Make them stop before they get to Park Street, and when they go forward, of course, how many people are going to see that stop sign the first 2 years? But I think that's a really good idea.
And maybe we need road bumps on Brusso Road. It'd be a hard time to plow them though in the winter.
Yeah, you'd have to make them removable. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Bruce. I think the stop sign's a great idea, and just request that the police sit out there for a week or two or something like that. As part of their regular rounds. Catch a few people going through the stop sign.
I agree with that, and you can put a stop sign, and prior to a stop sign, I don't know how many feet or yards we might want to do it, but you give a warning. There's a stop ahead, and people they'll get used to it. Hopefully,
I also think that having the police there is a good idea, but like they do with the MBU, when MBU opens in the morning, they give you a few days of friendly warnings before they start writing tickets. I think that would be educational, having there for educational, having pulling people over, sure, but maybe just giving them written warnings or whatever instead of ticketing at first, and then if they continue to do it after a couple week period, we'll then start nailing the tickets. But
that's a good idea.
Should we set a speed limit on that street?
You already said, isn't there?
There isn't one. Isn't there one already?
Oh, I don't know. I guess it don't work, but I guess you're right. We should probably have to put the cops there, but I didn't know if there was one or not. I know I've seen them fly up there pretty good.
I would see the police as being more kind of an education element.
Yeah.
The sign's there. Pay attention, or this, could get expensive.
Sharon?
Yes?
It's Lynn. I've been very quiet all night. I don't understand, coming from the Brusso Road, why is there a problem now when all the years that I've been here, I've never heard anything about what's the issue? I don't understand that issue coming off Brusso Road to the 207 and going over the bank. I don't get it.
I think it's a lot of distracted driving and going too fast.
You mean they're just coming off Brusso Road and shooting right over and going down the gully?
Yeah. And you're right. It's been like that forever.
I think that it definitely is, the road is experiencing a bank slide. More so on 7 than on the Brusso Road. And when you're south on 207, there's a significant slope that you have to navigate at the end of Brousseau Road. So I think that when people are coming off Brousseau Road and that slow, that it can be tough to navigate depending on what's going on that day. Not to say that distracted driving wasn't playing a role in some of those issues, but I think that it's a significant change it's similar to what we have on the Macy Road. The base of the road is sliding down the hill.
So when you hit a stop and then you're about to take either a left or a right, then it's difficult to get past that particular slope. Is that what the issue is?
Yeah.
I would say yes. Okay. Just a little PS to this, and then I'll be quiet. But when you're talking about going down Park Street, if you will, to block off that other, the end of the Brousseau Road, it's very, when I sometimes go down that street and I'm heading home, it's tough to crane your neck around to see what's coming on 207 from the St. Albans Road. In other words, from the south, if you've experienced this, anyone else. But when you stop there and then you look to see if anything's coming to your left, that's difficult to see in there.
I agree with you 100%. It's almost like you're looking right into the rail between the two doors. It's
right. You want to really think hard if that would ever be an option, because that right there is that would be tough, I think, and probably you would be opening a kettle of fish. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. Okay, thank you.
So I would be willing to entertain a motion for a stop sign if we all agreed that would be an immediate assistance to that problem.
So this is Randy. I love Butch's input on that, but I think it is a good idea. At that point, if people are stopping and then they're proceeding ahead, there's no reason for them to have issues navigating that slope, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think, also in my opinion, maybe Butch should take a look and, but I do think that would be helpful.
So do you want me to next time we meet, or?
I think I'll make that motion pending Butch's approval.
Okay.
Well, we can't really do that.
No.
Well, we can put it on the next agenda.
I think we should do that.
And Richard, if you can reach out. Richard, are you keeping notes?
Yeah.
I am.
If you can reach out to him about that, having a stop sign there too. What he thinks about that would be great.
Yeah.
Just another piece of information. I pulled up the road, the traffic ordinance, and you do have a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit on Brousseau from a point 4,000 feet east of its intersection with Vermont Route 207.
But there isn't one on Park Street though, right, Heidi?
Park is 35.
It's 35.
Yep, that's what your traffic ordinance says.
Okay, so let's check with Butch and Heidi if you could put that back on the agenda for next time.
Yep, will do.
Okay. Anything else, Heidi?
Yeah. Fish and Wildlife had plans to come to this meeting, and she did send her proposal, and I'm sorry I neglected to forward it to you, but basically she's asking to continue the discussion about the Cherry Hill property, Rayum Road, and it's an 11-acre piece that they own all the property surrounding it, and it's landlocked, and it is a wetland, so it's not a viable property. They're offering to purchase it for $1 to pick up the taxes going forward. So rather than the town owning it, it would go into the pilot program, which gives the town the tax payment in lieu of taxes. It's less than the private owner would pay because they don't pay the education component of the tax bill. So they would be giving us $151.04 tax annually on the property versus the $0 that we get now.
I had a question on that. You said $1, but in the letter it says, the way I read it, is that they would pay no more than $1,000. Am I reading that wrong?
Well, I think we could get clarification on that. She's saying for administrative costs. So I don't know if that's they're offering to pay the attorney fees, etc. It says in the letter, I think it says $1.
I guess I didn't see that dollar amount in the letter, but I could have missed it. And then my other question to that, is that one of the properties we did put out there to the public?
Yes.
To bid on?
Yes.
And am I right that we did not receive any bids?
That's correct.
So I guess I would support this in that case.
Anyone else? Thoughts?
Well, this proves simply if we sell it to them that they pick up all the costs of transferring ownership. That would be all, I think.
Okay. Kyle?
But piece of landlocked land that's a wetlands, you're never going to do anything with it anyways.
That's right.
So I'll be honest with you, when it comes to this group, I don't trust them at all because when I was on Franklin, they were supposed to do a bunch when they took over the boat launch, and they didn't do anything. It was all in contract, so but this is completely different. But I got no problem with it. I think it's just something to get rid of that you can't do anything with.
Okay. Richard?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Okay. So I will make mention that in the original town meeting minutes, there is a fair market value portion of that approval in order for us to sell that. But we know that we have attempted to do a tax sale. We have contacted the bordering neighbors to that property, and we have had no success in finding anyone that wants it except for Vermont Fish and Wildlife. So just to make that clear for the record.
Sharon, can I ask a question?
Ty, yes?
Have we reached out to somebody like Ducks Unlimited or something that would use it for like what Stevify does with the Young Gun Turkeys Club and stuff?
This is Bruce.
With kids.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, Ducks Unlimited would simply turn it over to the State Fish and Wildlife Department.
Okay, thank you.
They don't really own any property. They manage some, but the state owns it.
Okay.
I think well established that the fair market value is zero.
Unfortunately, yeah, those two. But it would give us at least a little bit of income.
Well, it's
would
good
get it
land.
off the town
It's
hall.
good land use too. It's from a larger wildlife management area, and that's probably the highest and best use for that particular acreage.
So can I have a motion to go forward with the sale of the Cherry Hill property?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Heidi, can you contact them and tell them that as long as they're willing to use that $1,000 amount to cover our expenses, that we would sell it to them for $1.
Okay. Will do.
Okay.
And the last thing I had is I did forward some images and pricing for a plaque for the bridge. We started the discussion last time. I didn't know if you had any further input on that at this time. This was for the dedication of the bridge to Richard Noel.
Does anyone have any thoughts on the pictures she sent?
I don't. When did you send those, Eddie?
Week ago, maybe?
Last Thursday, the 26th. It was an update, working from home.
Okay. Thank you.
This is Bruce.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, I kind of like at least the idea of a bronze plaque attached to the bridge. I don't remember what we discussed last time around, but
Standalone sign.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that. What?
A standalone
bronze
sign.
plaque attached.
Yeah, I'm not clear if we can attach something to the bridge. I think that would be ideal. I can double check on that. So those are either attached to the bridge or on one of those standing poles like some of the other ones. An aluminum one was $279. A solid bronze was $300.
Yeah, I think I think bronze would stand the weathering over time better.
So that was an 8-inch by 6-inch was $300.
So I'm looking at it right now, the email.
Yeah.
The first one can't be 14 foot by 11 foot, right? That must be a typo.
No, I think that's right, Randy.
I'm sorry.
I would agree with you.
Okay, so I would go with the one that would stand the test of time, and I think that's the solid bronze plaque for the $301.
But 8 by 6, isn't that kind of small?
It's tiny.
Yeah, it is actually, but
That's not made of gold?
I mean, because you'd want something that they could see when they're driving by. 8 by 6, you'd have a hard time.
Holy moly.
Does the size of a piece of paper sound better, like an 8.5 by 11?
Yeah, I think that would be a lot better.
At least, yeah.
Exactly. That would be
Okay.
like $1,000 for that price now. Holy Moses.
I'd also, I'd spend an extra buck if it was done locally, personally.
Oh, yes.
I don't
Yeah.
see who provided this, but and I don't know that anybody locally does provide this.
Quite possible. This was just to give a general idea, get a conversation started.
Yeah. I think this is a big deal, and so I think if we spend, a little extra for something that's going to last forever and be visible, I'm all for that.
Just a quick thought. I do a lot of business with John Johnson up on Duffy Hill in Enosburg.
Oh, yeah.
He does all kinds of outdoor signs. He does all my graphics. I wonder if we should touch base with someone like that and get their opinion on what they think. Maybe they can come up with something that isn't going to cost us $100 an hour, but still have something that's durable and lasts. I completely agree with you with as far as going with something that's going to be durable, but I bet you we can do a lot better than those kind of numbers.
Okay, would you be willing to touch base with them?
I would. Yep, I would. I do that. I know John well.
Okay.
I do a lot of business with him. And,
We've worked with him
I think
before.
him, and I also think of Grizzly Graphics in Sheldon.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do much on the sign, but those are just two places that I would stop and ask both and show them, tell them what we want to do and see what they can come up with.
Yeah, can you bring that information back to us next meeting?
I'll bring it back next meeting. One-sided or two-sided? Obviously, if it's going on the bridge, it's one-sided, obviously. But if it's on a sign, would you want, I don't know, I guess it's kind of a foolish question. Be one-sided anyways, I guess.
Well, no, it's not a foolish question, I guess. You could have it two sides.
You put it on a
The
pole.
one, sorry.
I'm just saying, if you put it on the pole, you probably would go two-sided, but go ahead. Thank you.
There's one at the bridge, the footbridge in Highgate Crossing. I'm thinking it's just one-sided on a pole. But you can double check.
Yeah, I think you're correct, Heidi.
He's done signs before, so. Awesome.
Okay.
That's
I'll
all
do that.
I have.
Bring it back to the next meeting.
Okay. All right, on to select board items. We have a applicant for the planning commission, Scott Bissett. So can I have a motion to accept Scott Bissett as a new planning commission member?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion?
Who's he replacing?
He is replacing Richard. Richard Noel has agreed to step down because he's on a number of other committees.
Okay, that was my question.
And Scott will be taking his place. So all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Second thing. Randy has brought up that we normally give a donation to the Little League for raking the parks. Well, of course, we're in the middle of this COVID-19 issue, so we can't really have the children and parents congregating. I'm asking what you think about just making a motion to absolutely give the donation to the Little League and not to have them rake the parks this year as a precaution against COVID-19.
I think that's a great idea.
I don't agree with that. Okay. Ty, would you like to speak?
Yes, maybe I don't have all the information, but I don't believe there's going to be a Little League season this year. I think we postpone the donation until next season and continue like we have in the past. I know money that we have given them back down. Tried to have some discussion with the Little League Board, meaning the Parks and Rec Commission and the Little League Board, have some discussion on expectations and stuff of that for this year before this COVID all happened, and the meeting never could happen. So I know 2 of the parks have been done already by Brian Spears, and I think he is planning on continuing to do the other 2 with his own time. So I don't, especially if they're not going to have a season, and I don't see how they could have a season. But maybe I don't have all the info. I think we use that money for something else in the department, because it comes out of the rec department's budget.
Well, so I have some questions around that. That's what the historic, so that's an appropriation, which we've all agreed to, that has gone back prior to the recognition, right?
I don't believe it's an appropriations anymore because of your appropriations policy.
Well, so it's $1,000 right now.
I thought it was
No.
2.
It's $1,250 right now. It was $2,000 last year.
So, A, they can't legally, we literally cannot do it. B, Little League has currently no budget. C, we don't know that Little League will or will not have a season, in my opinion. They won't, but we don't know that. This is a long, standing tradition, and this is unprecedented time. But I don't see that with an appropriation. We don't turn those down as long as they fit the policy and whatnot. So I see this more as a personal issue and not a raking of the fields issue. So I'm in favor of paying it out. Little League is probably the lowest registration fee amongst all sports in the area. It's volunteer ran. Nobody gets paid, not even they have basically zero budget right now. They have no official money on the books. Even if they were to get the 1,000 to 1,250 this season, that's barely anything. So if they don't have a season and they do have a season next year, that 1,250 is basically going to cover baseballs, maybe some tees, some helmets for safety of the kids, maybe some bats. And I really think this is a personal issue that shouldn't really be brought into a discussion for $1,250.
So, Randy, does Little League have a board that handles the funds?
They have a board, but the funds are handled by somebody, I guess wouldn't officially actually be on the board. I'm not sure, because that person, he's a town employee as well. It's a complicated matter, I think.
Okay. I'm just wondering if we gave them the appropriation this year and they didn't have a season, that we could be assured that that money would still be held for Little League for next year.
Can I just add something?
Certainly.
I pulled up the town report, Parks and Rec. The Little League was zeroed out. There's no money. They took that, it said 2,000. They took it out. And when I go to appropriations, there's nothing for Little League there. Oh, nope, sorry, 1250. It's up here under cultural service. 1250.
Okay, so that is not coming out of the Parks and Recs.
Okay, okay.
And I don't think it should. There should be a separation there, in my opinion.
Yeah,
There's another discussion.
Yep.
This is Bruce.
Yes, Bruce.
It seems Heidi just pointed out that there is a separation. But I'd be more in favor of holding on to the money until such time as Little League starts up again. I didn't hear any clear answer about who's going to be in charge of it or in charge of the expenditures yet. So I'm happy with making the money available to them when they need it. So if they wind up getting $2,500 or $400 next year, fine. In my book.
Kyle?
I just think these are crazy times. This is something that wouldn't be being discussed or even talked about. I think I agree with Bruce. I think I think we should get them the money with the stipulation that if they don't need it this year, they're going to use it next year. Or I guess that wasn't Bruce, but we give them the money, and if they don't need it this year, that they'll have it for next year. I think anytime we can help these kids with, of all people I know, physical activity, it's great. It's definitely an awesome thing, and it's a really small price to pay, I think.
I would agree with that. Richard?
Yeah, I agree with it. They are part of our community. So, yeah.
Randy?
Yeah, I'm all in favor and making that money available to Highgate Little League. Like I said, this sport is played by every child that wants to play. They don't even charge. If a family's unable to pay, the kid still plays. That's not true for every sport. So I'm always in support of Highgate Little League.
May I just add one more thing?
Sure.
I think, I'm going to try to paraphrase Shelley too. If you feel like in the future that there's questions like this that come up, it should probably happen in the budgeting cycle, because I think what Shelley said last year is if the voters approve that $1,250 in that line item for Little League and then it doesn't go to them, that's an auditing snafu.
Yes, I would agree 100%.
So this conversation should probably happen during budgeting, or we're not doing what we told the voters we were going to do. So,
Well, we didn't tell the voters they were going to have COVID-19 situation either.
that's an excellent point.
That's good. So the last thing that I have for
tell them one way or the other on that.
Say what?
I'm glad we didn't tell the voters one way or the other on the COVID-19. We knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Right.
So on the idea of Little League, the $1,250 is available to Little League. Comply with town meeting day results and our budget that we put together. So, and by all means, we are supportive of Little League, and it's fabulous that they don't turn down any child. We do definitely need more of that. So the last thing I have is, please check on your neighbors, check on your elders, check on people in town to make sure that everybody is being taken care of. We do have people that are willing and able to call around if you think someone needs to be checked on. We do have people that are physically checking on people. And we do have people that are looking for items. So reach out. You know, if you have something to give or want to give, the state also has a website. I know Meals on Wheels, Age Well, is dying for volunteers in our area. So if someone has some time and is able and willing, I'm sure they would greatly appreciate it. So that's my spiel. Does anyone else have anything for select board items?
Hi, Sharon.
Richard, I recognize your voice, and I didn't recognize the other one.
Brian Spurs.
Oh, hi, Brian. Hang on just a minute. Richard, go ahead.
I wanted to bring up what's I don't know if we're thinking about it, or I know I've heard some talk. What about the Memorial Day parade?
Okay, so the Memorial Day committee has, most of them are on this phone call, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Have asked to cancel the Memorial Day events. Ty, Brian, you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, I'll start. I think we need to cancel those events. The parade and the chicken barbecue obviously is all part of that day. I don't think we're going to be over this for Memorial Day, but that's just a personal opinion. I know we're not going to be over this in time to do the planning it takes to make Memorial Day as successful as it is, and I think we can do something once we're through this. You know, it won't be on a traditional Memorial Day, but I think we can still do something. I talked to Keith Kloof. We're still going to try to lay the wreaths for Memorial Day. I'm going to try to get with the principal of the elementary school and see if they can, through remote learning, have some of the classes maybe write a assignment on what Memorial Day means to me, and get creative and maybe be able to have kids reading what they wrote and do a collage of that, some sort. And maybe Channel 15, I know there's a bunch of hoops we'll have to get. It's kind of a hope right now that we can have something like that happen. Well, that's about what I got to say about that.
Okay. Brian?
Yeah, I agree with Ty. Hopefully it's over by then, but I don't think we can take a chance, and maybe we can do something later on.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I know I had spoken to Keith as well, and he was thinking, well, maybe we could do something for Labor Day weekend. You know, and still show our appreciation, and still, hopefully by then things are calmed down, and the community will need a reason to celebrate and come together and rejoice.
Yeah, I got another thing. The Christmas tree's still on the park, right?
Yes.
Okay, the last thing I heard today was that somebody wanted to decorate it with Easter eggs. Does anybody have a problem with that?
I have no problem with that.
Okay.
That's good. Is it still green?
Yeah, it is.
It is so green. It's Glen, and yes, I see it every day. It's beautiful.
Okay.
Richard wanted it for his goats, but it's frozen in the bucket, and I get it out.
Right, I know. That's all it is.
Good. Now I can look at Easter eggs.
There you go.
So, as far as the board goes, do you have any thoughts about canceling Memorial Day?
I think it's a good idea.
Unfortunately, I think I see that he canceled every day already.
Yeah.
That's 2 weeks later, so unfortunately, I think it's probably the right thing to do.
Yeah,
I think it's an unfortunate necessity.
I'm taking their recommendation on this for sure.
Okay. So can I have a motion to cancel the Memorial Day festivities for the town of Highgate?
I'll make that.
Should we call it a postponement?
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's call it a postponement.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All right. All those in favor say aye. 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 Okay. Brian, I'm sorry I cut you off before. Did you have something else?
Yeah, I think I dozed off on the Little League thing, but
Okay.
I take care of all the finances for Little League. I have for 20 plus years, so
Okay.
I have the checkbook. We do have money in our account. The only concern I have about an appropriation is it's hard enough to get volunteers there when we do rake, and if you start giving them money for nothing, I'm just wondering what the turnout's going to be.
Well, that's a pretty good question. Randy?
I am taking care of the parks. I got 2 of them are raked. I'll be in Highgate Falls tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and then I'll be doing the upper park sometime next week.
Randy, do you think the coaches of Little League would do the honor of raking the parks, whether this was an appropriation or not?
What I can tell you that I do know is that undoubtedly everybody would wish they could be there raking those parks. But in current time, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but how do you gather several people into a park right now while following the law?
Right.
I don't know. I'm super appreciative that, Brian went ahead and took it upon himself to go do it. I don't know that there's ever been a year where Little League hasn't done it in my time there, as a coach, not a board member, but a coach. But, those appropriations are given out to folks that serve the community. Home health collects a larger amount than the others because they fall through with a petition. But those appropriations are aimed at they're doing nothing. Typically in a good Little League year, I think there's over 100 registrants that get to play baseball. In a time where we're trying to keep kids off the street and give them opportunities to do things, I think Little League is, towards the top of organizations that, volunteer-led and opportunities for every kid, not just the kids that can afford it, but every kid. And I know Brian's been on the board for many years, and I think he can agree that budgets have always been pretty minimal for them. Most of the cost and equipment purchased are for protection, helmets, and the necessity, baseball. It's a fairly non-expensive sport that kids...
Randy, are you running for office?
Hey, I'm pretty passionate about the baseball. And I
think we should just do it, and because nobody knew a thing about coronavirus, and we had made our budget in all good faith, and it was voted on and approved. So
I totally agree, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay. So, Brian, the Little League will get an appropriation this year. And then we'll go forward and have faith that you'll have a good crowd to rake next year.
I hope so. I don't know how many more years I got left.
Well, we appreciate everything you do. You do an awesome job.
I enjoy doing it. And it's a good way to practice your distancing, too, because nobody seems to bother me.
Except me.
Yeah, Lynn checks on me every day, and Kyle stopped the other night, but it's pretty quiet.
There.
You might even get tomorrow. Might even get tomorrow. Yeah.
So, board, do you have anything else?
I just had one thing. I was curious if there are local families, we don't have to have this on the minutes, or that are hurting and that could use a little help. Jennifer gift cards, whatever.
I know that Keith Plouffe is checking on 4 families.
Okay.
Who, without any names or anything, going to the food shelf to make sure that they have food.
Okay, so
A lot of our elder people are terrified to go out. So they're staying close to home and making do. There's also a group of widow and widowers. There are 22 in the group that are associated with the Catholic Church that meet in Swanton, and some of our Highgate residents are in that group. And they are looking for basic supplies, cleaning supplies, toilet paper, paper towels, tissues, Clorox, wipes, that sort of thing.
okay. Did someone just forward me? I don't have any contact information for Keith. If someone has that, could you forward that to me, please?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's all I have.
Okay. Heidi, do you have anything else?
Well, I just wanted to get a vision for how we will proceed with meetings. We had previously talked about allowing Paul Costello to come to do a presentation for you via Zoom. And so I want to know if we're going to proceed with that, or if we should postpone phone now.
Randy, what are your thoughts? Can we pull this off?
Well,
Doing
for
this teleconference and Zoom?
Paul already has a Zoom account for our office, so he sent us a link. So all anybody would have to do is be at a computer and just click the link.
Do you know? Sorry.
No?
Does he intend to host the entire meeting? Not it. Not it. I don't know if you heard me, Heidi.
All I heard was if he intends to host. What was the rest of the question?
This is for the next select board meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's created a Zoom and he intends to host the entire select board meeting with that Zoom meeting.
Oh, I had not thought that far into it. No, probably not. But I think open meeting law is encouraging or insisting that there also be a phone line available for people that don't have a computer so that they are not out of the loop.
Just
So
going
we
to say
can do a
Zoom
conference call.
Zoom does include a call-in number. If the meeting is set up, I think it's actually defaulted to include the conference call-in number. So it would meet the requirement, I believe.
So I'll clarify with him, and I don't know how much other business we'll have, but you'll at least have a check warrant.
So if you can follow up with that, Heidi, and follow up with the ability to allow Zoom, we'll see about that for our next meeting.
Okay.
Quick question. And Richard, this is for me and you. What the hell is Zoom?
Yeah. I'm just learning that in school this week. It's a big camera and it's on the TV, something like that, I guess.
Video conferencing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Trying to stay away from it if I can.
Very similar to what we're doing at the moment, except you can video in, you can use your computer or an app on your phone to connect in. And it can be audio, it can be video, it can be both. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other public comment? Okay, I would thank you all for joining us. Do we have any reason to go into executive session?
I don't.
I have none.
No. Okay. So I would entertain a motion to exit the select board meeting.
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.